Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown. And today, I'm so excited because we actually have a guest with us today.
We do.
Pick it up, boy.
Oh, yeah.
And if that didn't equal Benny Capaul, everyone, this is Benny Capaul, my very dear friend and a funeral director that I've referenced several times on this show that just is right around the corner from where I record. So we are local and Chris is afar, but it's like we're all together.
Yes, I am afar. I forgot how many miles. I think it's like 800 miles away from you or something like that.
And I would walk 800 miles, and I would walk 800
And I would.
more.
I would to see you, Chris.
You would, or at least
knock
halfway?
on your door.
Meet halfway somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, let me be clear. I couldn't run it, but I would walk it.
I mean, it's really not that far. I mean, with transportation.
It is a 1 day ride. It's 8 hours actually.
Yeah.
8 or 8.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No,
that's less than the UP for us. So
I actually have it.
True.
I actually have it all planned out for when I'm going to drive out there. I know like exactly what time I'm going to leave. The whole thing. I have the whole route mapped out. So.
Well, and it's funny because you're not really privileged to this information yet because Betty and I just had a conversation about it this past week. But we were talking about, we all know the magical and famous Christmas in Ida.
Oh,
and
yes.
Betty and I have some things up our sleeves for this particular year. So if things go as planned, we might need to get Chris here.
Oh,
100%.
In
100%.
the flesh.
I like it.
You're going to have to wear your Santa hat.
I have no problem wearing the Santa hat. I can't wait. That would be awesome. Okay. So welcome, everybody, once again to the show. If you're tuning in live, feel free to join in on the fun and comment and ask questions or harass us as we go along. If you are checking out the audio feed, if you're listening to this on our very many outlets where you can listen to the show, well, then we welcome you as well. So if this is your first time checking out the Song Swap Showdown, well, normally how the show works, even though today's a special episode, normally how the show works is that Amanda and I each swap 3 songs each with one another. I can never say that. I have to figure out, I'm going to script that differently so it comes out much smoother. We each swap 3 songs with one another that we don't think the other one has ever heard before. And then we rate those songs at a very complicated scale of 1 to 5 records, with 1 being a total dumpster fire of a song. Get it out of here. Don't want to hear it again. I can't believe this is on my headphones. All the way to a 5 record rating, which is, of course, the heavenly music to our ears. That's right. It is the things that we need to listen to all the time on a daily basis. It's just that awesome. That is a 5. That is a 5 record song.
That is what we classify as a 5 record song.
Which I feel like the last few episodes, we've been very generous with the 5 records.
We have. And Benny, I don't know if you've listened to the few last episodes or our listeners have listened, but they've been very theme based, which has really given us the advantage to kind of stack the list.
Yeah.
To get maybe more of those 5 record ratings.
Oh, I get it. Well, and today's going to be even tougher because all SKA is 5 records. So
well, we'll see.
We'll
see.
I mean, good luck.
Shall see. Yes, absolutely. So, Amanda,
Mm-hmm.
So today's show, it's a little special.
It's a little special.
And I think this was your idea. Right?
Benny's idea.
Yeah.
Right.
So talk about this episode today.
Yeah. So Benny says, hey, let's do this together. Let's do a show together. And we said, sure. And so here we go. What better way to have him on our show than to do a ska episode, because he's part of a ska band, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's super fun. So, and from there, I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know ska like, Chris and Benny know ska. So how about they both give me 3 songs and I kind of do some rating and we talk a lot about them and have some fun. So the battle of the ska entry level list. So if it was somebody who, such as myself, who didn't even know what ska was about or even a thing until our show started 2 years ago, it will gently or throw them into the ska atmosphere.
Right.
So that is
Ska
how our yes. So today is all about ska, 6 ska songs that hopefully our listeners will enjoy. Did I? We will find out. But Benny, talk a little bit about your ska band.
Oh, absolutely. So for the ska Ginners, which by the way, Chris, I just want to say we got our hands full because I said what wave to Amanda and she didn't know what I was talking about. So this is going to be real fun.
Yeah, I figured we'd explain the wave.
So I am in a ska punk band out of kind of around here. We're kind of all over. One of us is in Saline. A couple of us are in Toledo, but we say southeastern Michigan because that's really where we're mostly originated from. But our name is the Boy Detective. Our biggest influence would be like Less Than Jake and Suicide Machines. For how we do it, we got a little bit of pop punk, and ska edge to us with a little bit of hardcore occasionally trickled in. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We've been doing it now we got 7 members right now. We have 8 kind of that come in and out. With a horn section, it's more the merrier. So if 8 kids want to show up and play horns, we're gonna make it happen. So yeah, we've been playing a lot of shows here in the Toledo, Detroit, Ypsilanti area. We're going up to Grand Rapids next month for April 15th. We're gonna play the Skeletones with the Insiders, which is a big touring 80s, 90s ska band. So we're really excited about that. We got a bunch of shows coming up, and we got a new record coming up. We're going to be recording here in June. So look forward to that. But our newest album, Band from the Bathtub, is ridiculously fun. Please listen to it if you do get a chance. I challenge all of you to get it out and listen to it. And we also just covered Beyonce because she is incredible and is now, I think, has the most Grammys. It just happened the other day, I think. If I'm not mistaken, that just happened.
I think so.
I think she has most Grammys. So we decided, what are we going to do? We're going to cover Destiny's Child song, Jumpin' Jumpin', and it rules. So check it out. You can check it out on Spotify, Apple, whatever you use for your streaming, or I think the link tree is going to be up so you can just listen to it from there. But that's my band.
Awesome.
I like
yes.
it.
So all the links will be in the show notes in the video description below, by the way. So that way you guys can all check out the Boy Detective.
And Betty, what did you say it was called? The Bathtub?
Band from the Bathtub.
Band from the Bathtub.
Yeah, it's for all of you punkers out there, you'll get the album title.
Okay.
If you like Bad Brains, you'll get
That's
it.
Right. That's right.
It just shows my not in-depth understanding.
I love by the way, I love that we're doing this episode because this is like a dream come true for us to like kind of educate Amanda, because I will tell you, Amanda, I think before meeting me and a few other folks had no idea what the heck ska music was, didn't even know where it came from, didn't even know what it sounded like. So I feel like of all the genres out there, like all the many genres that you've been introduced to, Amanda, over the last like few years that we've been doing the show, I feel like ska is the one that may suit you the best.
I think so. And then one of these songs really kind of hits on that. There's Amanda elements into the ska. Now the skanking, like it's kind of my style because I can't dance. It's kind of one of those, like it's a pretty basic skank. Although
you don't need to do it that way. You don't need to do it that way. See, I know that you love rollerblading. So why don't you just come to the next ska show and rollerblade in the pit? Because that's the way to do it.
Only if Tony Donato can accompany me, because there are strict rules to Amanda going into the pit.
Well, I think at the ska show, though, you'll be pretty safe.
It's
a lot. Going to the pit at ska show is a lot different than going to the pit at like, what was a band we were talking about? I forgot. Oh, wait, we were talking about Bring the Noise, like all that,
like Slipknot, or like any of the hardcore.
The pit, the pit at the ska show is different than the pit at like
this is. Can we just say this? This is the beauty of ska music. See, the problem with ska for the late '90s, this is what turned everybody off. Was it got to the point where a lot of people thought it was too goofy. It was just too corny, flamboyant. It was just all over the place. But it was just at the end of the day, ska is fun. And the reason why ska has worked and keeps working is because it gives you an actual place to listen to music and actual dance. See, the thing is, the music, you can't help but not dance. So the thing, when you come to a Boy Detective show, you're going to be dancing. because it's a lot of fun. And I actually go in the pit to dance because I don't like being on stage. I would rather be down with the. I'm a DIY punk kid. I would rather be in a garage or a basement show than be on a stage. So I struggle with staying on stage, which I'm sure my band doesn't really like too much, but it is what it is. So
right.
Where's Benny? Oh, he's in the pit again.
Yeah.
Please, if Amanda shows up at a show and she's on skates and she's in the pit dancing to Boy Detective in the pit on skates, I 100% need that whole thing to be filmed.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'll roll up and people are like, I don't know who she is. I'm that girl.
You'll be a hit. You'll be a hit. You're that girl. That'll be a hit.
Girl.
Oh my gosh, you could start a thing. You could start bringing rollerblades in the pit. Like that would be the cool thing that you could do. That'd be super cool.
I'm willing to do that with my earplugs.
That would be very cool.
There we go.
Yes.
So much fun. So much fun.
Yes. So what we have today, once again, is that we have between Betty and I, we have each selected 3 songs each and submitted them to Amanda for ratings based on the fact that we're like, what are 3 songs that Benny and I would each give to somebody who's never heard ska before? And I'll tell you, and I know Benny, you probably had just as bad of a hard time about this because I.
Oh my gosh, I loved your 3. And when I was choosing them, and I'm sure you have the same problem.
Yep.
First of all, what are the best 3 to choose?
Yep.
And then second of all, I'm like, I know the 3 I'm not going to choose. I know Chris is going to at least pick 1 or 2 of them. Especially when you picked Op Ivy, because that was the first thing that I was thinking was like, you have to have an Op Ivy. But I was like, I'm picking this specifically for I want to share my 3 kind of favorite around. So anyways, Amanda, good luck because they're all, like I said, they're all 5 records. I mean, in my opinion. So
I agree 100%.
And you both sent me your 3, but then you followed up with, this was really hard for me to do.
Yeah, I literally changed my list about 10 times. And yeah, Benny, I was like, do I put Op Ivy on? Do I not put Op Ivy on? I mean, it's like, and I know I've given Amanda Op Ivy songs before, but I'm like, but if I'm going out like it's a ska starter list, and I'm like, I'm like, all right, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off, they're back on. Like,
yeah. It got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm not going to overthink this anymore. Here's the 3 songs, just we'll go from there.
And that's our show just about every single week when we're doing themes. It's really hard to choose the 3 to be able to share out there. So, hey, without further ado, let's jump into. I'm going to start with Benny since he's our guest.
All right, yeah.
I'm going to start with Benny.
Guest go first.
His first song to me was New Girl by Suicide Machines.
Oh, that's our rules.
Song rules.
Jay Navarro rules just in general. And a tidbit, because I think this is important, Amanda.
Okay.
Suicide Machines are a Michigan-based band. Oh. So that's a huge thing you got to take in consideration. These are Detroit boys, born and raised, that grew up in the pit in Detroit with a lot of punk bands. And Jay Navarro, if I didn't have Destruction by Definition and battle hymns when I was younger, I wouldn't be the punk I am today. So I just need you to take this in consideration. When you give anything less than a 5 record, you're dealing with my childhood. So just be very, very careful. I just want to throw that out there because a lot of people don't think about like these people that come out like these albums. And Chris, I feel like you were like me. Like these are treasured things, especially because I grew up in a very conservative house, so these were hidden CDs that we would have.
Yeah.
Because we weren't allowed to listen to these CDs. And I loved it. And I remember inlining in my parking lot with the anti-skip so I could listen to these songs.
The anti-skip.
Dude, it ruled. Anyway, so go ahead. I didn't mean to take your time.
You gotta have like level though. Because
you gotta have a level.
Gotta have the anti-skip level regardless.
You do.
Oh, and I did not tell another story about this because I just met Jay Navarro. So we played a show at a very underground, a commune house. It wasn't even it was bad. I mean, there was 2 small speakers barely there, a drum set that should never be used as a backline.
Okay.
And anyways, so we're playing with a touring New Jersey band called the Joker's Republic. They rule too if you get a chance to listen to them. They're another ska band. And anyways, we're playing, and right before we go on, this guy walks in. I go, Nick, good. That's my guitarist. It's like, dude, that's Jay Navarro. And he's like, oh my God, he can't hear us. The sound system is horrible. I'm like, okay, our chance to like actually like impress our like hero as a kid is, and anyways, it was really cool because at the end we gave him a free shirt because we were like, dude, that would rule if you wore a shirt. And then the second thing he said was, I really like your last line. I told the machines, which I thought was cool, that I really liked your guys' last words, which I can't say on the show, but it's a really cool song. Scabies, if you get it out there, listen to it, it's cool. But yeah, go ahead, Amanda.
I was like, what's the last
line? Amanda, no pressure, but don't crush Benny.
Don't crush Suicide Machines.
I was
not to mention Tony Hawk.
Quite prepared. My ratings will change, and Chris, I will show you my real ones behind the scenes.
No, you gotta be truthful. You gotta be truthful.
This is the show.
No.
This is the show. The show is that we all know. Once again, just set the stage. Once again, Amanda. This is not music Amanda listens to. This is kind of, we'll say, outside our comfort zone.
Wait a sec, Chris. You're telling me you didn't listen to No Doubt?
I listen to No Doubt.
No, I'm telling Amanda, like you didn't listen to Gwen?
I listened
like back in the 90s when that was like super awesome. Like
she listened to what was on the radio though. She listened radio
so like by default I had to listen.
Oh, you didn't listen to like what about Don't Speak? Because that was on.
Spiderweb was on. Spiderweb. So those were really, I think, the only two songs that I could really probably say that I know for sure. But I like her country songs with her husband.
Oh no, Gwen, come back to ska. Gwen, please.
I think she's done with the ska world.
I know.
There's
more money in country.
Yeah, there is.
Isn't that sad?
Sad.
Less instrumentation, more money. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
All right. So I didn't listen, Benny. I didn't hate any of the songs given to me. All right. And there's never been, I think there's only been like 2 songs that I'm like, I really don't like this in the very, very beginning. Otherwise, I've been very open. So ska, I think now the ska lane is just not in that category. So I'm just rating it like normal music that I would listen to. I don't know, like, would I turn it on? Would I skip it? Am I like going, ooh, I like this? Am I bopping to it? So this particular song, I like, and I don't know if you can get to that part of the song, Chris, but it's all of the haze, like the hey, hey, haze. Because there's, like, it's not whistling, but it's like the tune of a whistle, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I really enjoyed that middle part of the song. And there's a little more screaming in this one than I prefer. A little bit more screaming. I mean, there's you bop it.
Bass line, just like that bass line.
It's fun.
And for all of us punks, like this was on Tony Hawk Pro Skater, so like that for a lot of people that introduced them to this song.
You know what's really interesting is when I put this in to listen to it over the weekend, Tony Hawk kept coming up, like all of that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, okay.
Those soundtracks ruled. Those soundtracks ruled.
Yeah. This one I think had more yelling potentially than the other 5 songs.
It's a little more on the punkier side of things.
Yeah. So I mean, it really wasn't bad. I mean, why did this one make your list, Benny, as like your number 1 to me?
Because I was gonna originally send you a Choking Victim song, but I was like, she's definitely gonna hate that.
Okay.
So, because if you think that's too much screaming, so you can even go a further step into the hardcore realm of ska punk, and you can go Choking Victims or Leftover Crack, whatever way you want to say that. And 500 Channels is the song, by the way, that I wanted to use from Choking Victims, which is an incredible song. But why I chose Suicide Machines is Suicide Machines, I would not be a punk rocker because for years I was just in a punk band and I love punk. I absolutely love punk. I never even thought I'd ever be in a ska band, to be completely frank with you. I love ska, but like punk is my thing. Like Ramones is the greatest band that ever lived, will ever live. Nobody can touch them. I love how Johnny Ramone was just straightforward and be like, we don't need solos. We don't need, we just need 4/4 and they just had what they had was amazing. They were anyway, an incredible band. So for me, I thought like this is the way. Like Suicide Machines to me just had the perfect, and they had a lot of money back then to do that, and that album still holds up today. Destruction by Definition and Battle Hymns are just wonderful albums. So go ahead, that's why I picked it. Classic.
I don't know if I make it for me a classic, but I really appreciate how Chris is really like into like when you're talking, he's like, yeah. Like Chris
These
is
are our childhoods. These are our childhoods.
happy about this episode. All right. So don't hate me.
Okay, what'd you give it?
I'm giving it a 3 record, which is not bad. It just kind
Okay.
of sets. Now,
Respectable.
and then we can go into would I skip it though, Benny?
You would probably skip it.
I probably would go out of my way to skip this particular song. But I don't hate it. Like, I guess it depends how far away. We have different levels of skippage too. So if I'm in the car,
Skippage.
yeah. If I'm in the car and can easily skip it, I'm going to skip it probably more likely. But if I was in my office or the store working and my phone was somewhere away from me, I might not stop what I'm doing to go skip it. So
she's not going
to
yell, Alexa, skip.
Yeah. So that's good.
Well, and if the Suicide Machines at all turned you on, you can listen to Sometimes I Don't Mind, which is their song about their dog, which is a lot slower and a lot more doo-wop-y 50s.
Which
they
Amanda
had an album
has
that was
heard.
more doo-wop-y.
Yes. Was that on our dog list?
That was on our dog list. Our songs about pets.
And I'll buy you things sometimes.
Yep.
That was cute. That was a cute song.
That's the Suicide Machines.
I forgot that was Suicide Machines. That was cute. Okay. All right. So this particular song, I have them 3 records. So not terrible. Not terrible. The middle elements where it's the hey, hey, hey part was my favorite of the entire song.
We could go up from here. That's all that matters.
You would like to think so, Betty, but
Streetlight's coming up, but there's no way she's gonna say no. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Chris, your first song to me to review was Two Tone Army by The Toasters. Now listen, what a fun band name. The Toasters. Like the confidence you must feel to go, we're going to start a band and we shall call it The Toasters.
That's right. New York City's finest. Founder of Moon Ska Records.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you could start going into really cool names like the Pie Tasters and Mustard.
Yeah,
Club.
yeah.
I really like the cover art. I assume the cover art that was on Spotify was probably the cover photo for this album, and that was really fun.
Songs for the Dead, I think it is that record. The one with the skeleton toasting.
The skeleton holding a beverage.
Yes.
So I really like the cover art. I like the beat.
Okay.
So I wrote down and I had my screenshot. So I have 2 different. I miss it. Everyone, I left my phone at home. Can you believe that nonsense? So like some of my notes are on there, but I put down Two Tone Army. Go ahead. I assume that makes more sense if I had lyrics to go with it off of a screenshot on my phone. I'm assuming I'm referencing that part of the song that I really, really.
Yeah, because it's like that's the that's the chorus. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, I really That's fun. It's like my favorite part.
Yeah.
This one's more upbeat. So, Chris, you're a little bit of a disadvantage, Benny, because Chris kind of understands the intro to the song sometimes are important.
The complex Amanda algorithm.
Yeah.
I'm a punker. I don't care. I want it to be wrong. I want it to be bad.
Fair. Okay. We're doing this for the ratings too. No.
That's right.
I ain't selling out to no Amanda intro.
Chris becomes a little bit more strategic. And we want to say good morning to Miss Ashley, one of our favorite listeners. Good morning. She says, hey, y'all. She's from the South. Can you tell? Shows and genre this morning. That is because of Betty and Chris. And here I am, Ashley.
Pick it up, Ashley. Pick it up.
So I really like the beat. I really like the go ahead. Like that is a fun thing. It's a little bit more just, it comes from a place of fun. I feel like this song where sometimes the other ones have a little bit more meaning, especially Benny's third song to me. So if you're waiting and you're listening, you hang in there until I talk about Benny's third song because what?
How appropriate for me. I'm sure it's what you're
like 30 seconds of boom. Like what?
I know what you're gonna. Okay,
okay.
The second one. I thought you were gonna talk about.
I thought it was the third one. Okay, maybe not, but
No, I know what you're talking about now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really like it. Chris, why did that one make your list?
So it's a great question. So once again, as I was saying at the top, like my list changed about 10 times. Songs came on, songs came off. It was started off as a very, very long list because I was like, once again, what can I give to somebody who's never heard ska before, but could like, I don't know, just like sort of suck them in and all that. And I felt like one, the song is a lot of fun to listen to. And you can see like how my list kind of progresses a little bit.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, you got to start off. I originally had the specials. I will say this. I originally had the specials at the top of the list, which would have been more like two-tone ska, which is a good introduction. However, I was like, I need something just a little bit more upbeat. So I figured I would go with New York City's The Toasters. You really can't go wrong with them. It's a great beat, especially Two-Tone Army. It's great. I feel like it's a great intro song for somebody to just like get into ska and feel the dance, feel the fun. And I love it. I think I've always liked the Toasters, always really liked them a lot. And they're such a danceable band. I mean, and once again, they have such a good history in the world of ska, especially, in the like the next wave of ska, the third wave of ska in that way. I mean, they started in 81, so they sort of went through a bit. They kind of touched like a little bit. They had one foot in two-tone and then another foot in third wave ska. And actually this song too, funny enough, if anybody watched Nickelodeon back in the day, Two-Tone Army was actually the theme song to Kaboom. So just a little trivia there for you. It was actually the tribute, the theme song to Kaboom. So just a great song. I think it's a good primer. I feel like it's a good primer.
I feel like that could be a song that if I had it on and my mom came in and to stop by a store or something like that and it was on, I think she would even maybe toe tap to it. Like the beat to it's just really up tempo and just kind of it's fun and the words become secondary to it to me. The tone is what I'm listening to. So I really like this one. So that being said, I don't like love it. Right? But I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Whoa, she didn't get a 4. Wow. She's rough on ska.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She's bringing the heat today, man. Bringing the heat.
Hey,
here's my problem, Chris. And man, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have a problem with picking songs because I'm an album lover. I think bands spend a lot of time making an album. So especially because a lot of albums are concept albums. So I feel like it's offensive to pick songs. You know what I mean? And especially for me.
Versus an album.
We're in a generation. See, when we were listening to albums, we got the CDs or the LPs or the cassettes, whatever you want to say. But either way, you had to listen to the whole thing. And you gave it a try at least once. Whereas like nowadays, they're just like, okay, that song, I'm going to go with that song or that song. So actually, a lot of bands aren't even writing albums anymore because they realize people aren't going to pick albums; they're going to pick songs. So this is the sad part: is going, but that's my problem with picking songs.
However, I will say, Benny, to that point, though, I will say, well, I mean, back in the day, I mean, a lot of time when we're talking about like the punk and hardcore and ska, even that, like. Oftentimes it would be the 7-inch would come out and it'd be like the A side, B side, and that's what the band would have until they either got into the studio to do a full record because they got the money or the funding or the label paid for it. But a lot of times it was the 7-inch with like anywhere from 2 to 4 songs, or like the split 7-inch, and you get like 2 different bands on each side. So there was a lot.
That's what I was going to say. The comps were. I was just thinking about making a comp.
So many great ska.
I'm tired. Oh my gosh! Yes, Misfits of Ska. That's all I can think of right now. Misfits of Ska.
Misfits of Ska. Yeah.
I'm just sitting here going,
Asian Man Records.
You guys are so cute. Skaing it up here, like. I'm loving this.
So Ashley is a great question. I brought it up before, and I I think this is actually a really great question, Ashley. Would you consider the Mighty Boss Stones ska? I will say my answer is yes, 100% yes.
Did you know that is still the most chart-worthy song? Is an impression that I get.
It's amazing.
Over any other ska. It's
so great.
It is a wonderful song. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but like it kind of drives me nuts too that's the only one that's been on there that long.
I know. And you picture, and Mighty Boss Tones and what they've done and how many great songs they've done. But you know, it's just the song that broke through, and it sort of has become that.
I mean,
like,
it's a banger. I mean,
yeah,
it is. It still is a banger.
It's a well-written pop song from that perspective that happens to be the Boss Tones, which also happens to be a ska song. But I would say, so I mean, if you really want the definitive name for Boss Tones, and they kind of coined it themselves, I would think is that they're ska core, in the sense that they have the ska, but they're a lot harder. They actually have more hardcore elements to them at times than, like, you know, say like what we just listened to, the Suicide Machine, or Suicide Machines. I was gonna say Jack Kevorkian and the Suicide Machines. I still, well, because that's what they used to be, and then they had to drop the Jack Kevorkian part and just became the Suicide Machines.
Got it.
But yeah, I they are ska, and if you want to go
100%.
deeper, ska core.
And I'll admit this out loud, because I usually always do admit embarrassing things. When I first read it, Ashley, I thought you were saying something about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
And they are definitely ska. Do you see some of their
They're
dance
definitely
kicks?
a ska.
Oh my gosh, we should put them to a ska.
Oh, speaking of which, now that my brain can't go against, all I can think of is the Aquabats, by the way.
Oh, the Aquabats.
Which the Aquabats rule. And Travis Barker from Blink-182 used to be an Aquabat. He was a drummer.
The Aquabats
for a while. But oh gosh,
Aquabats. The Aquabats.
Anybody who has kids, put on the Aquabats and try. I dare you to try not to dance.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about now. See, I don't have a young
Super Rad.
Anyone. Yes.
Super Rad. Super Rad. Super Rad.
I know.
They rule. And if you think about it, all of our cartoon shows when we were kids all had ska themes.
Mm-hmm.
Minus My Little Ponies.
But imagine if that was ska.
Right. Imagine
my little pony, my little. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
I can't.
Oh, it would be so much better. Chris knows it. He knows it. He can hear it. Somebody out there, please take the mile. You know, I'll talk to my band. We'll get it
done. Absolutely, yes, and then send it our way.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Oh, speaking of which, now that we actually have a musician on the show, no, not to digress here, but Amanda and I have been pining for our community to create a theme song opening for the song Swap Showdown. So just saying, Benny, putting it out there.
Yeah, well, I was like, I was sitting there, I was like, this song rules, but I'm like, man, you need some lyrics. You need some lyrics.
Well, we need a boy detective theme song.
I think we do, because I've tried, and it's just not pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'll talk to the detectives. We'll get back to the detectives. We got a lot of cases to solve recently, so we'll see what we can do.
There you go. Maybe this case can get closed.
Maybe. It could be a cold case for a while.
It has been for the last 2 years, so nothing new.
All right.
Well, before we move into our second song choices that you sent to me, why don't we go into our sponsor, capsite.bio, Chris?
Yes.
Because I know I'm just going to get into this, and you guys are going to be so in depth that we don't want to miss this opportunity to say hello.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, we absolutely want to make sure we acknowledge our sponsor, campsite.bio, because we love campsite.bio. In fact, just even before I got on the show, before we went on live, I was going on and updating links on a couple accounts that I run through campsite.bio. And I'm just like, man, this is just so great. It's just so easy to do, to go in and update stuff and be able to customize it. And on top of that too, some of the other special links I created for campsite.bio, I was able to go and track to see for special things, how many times it was clicked, where it came from, all that. So listen, if you are looking for the ultimate link in bio, because as we talk about in the show all the time, that real estate, that one link that you get on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, even Facebook, a lot of your accounts, you only get that one little space to put a link in, and that link should be your campsite.bio. That's exactly what it should be. It is truly the best place to convert more followers into customers with a link in bio to create just for you. And we've got creators on there. Like I've said, I run about 4 or 5 different accounts using campsite.bio. Amanda is using campsite.bio for her and her clients. So it is really just a wonderful tool. And it's not just for creators. If you're a marketer, if you're a marketing director, if you're a brand manager, if you're in communications, if you're a small business owner, use campsite.bio. It is great. You can integrate it. Like I said, for us, we have our Spotify, our YouTube accounts integrated in here. If you have an online shop, you can integrate your online shop onto there and have specific products. Basically, tell your customers where to go, what to do. It is perfect for that. So, Amanda, any words on campsite.bio?
I always plug how easy it is because that's what's
Yeah.
important to me. So it is easy, 5 minutes or less, and you are up and running. It's beautiful. Get your campsite.bio today.
Absolutely. Join over 200 creators, 200,000 creators, I should say, agencies of brands already on campsite.bio. Stay in control of your branding and create a bio link that matches you. Use the link in our show notes and video description below to download it for free. However, if you use the special code, you will also get $10 off a pro plan. And the pro plan is, I'm just going to say, that is where it's at. So don't delay. Download it for free. Try it out. You'll be convinced. Use the code, get the $10 off the pro plan, and start using campsite.bio today. The possibilities are endless with your profile and customization features. Campsite.bio.
Love it.
Love it. And Benny, who is this?
This is Fanny, or like we call Scanny, for a SKA show. But this is Fanny. She came up and wanted to say hi. So,
well, hello.
Hello, Fanny.
She also approves of campsite.bio.
That's right.
She does. She does. And SKA, for sure.
For sure.
So,
she's black and white. So, I mean, it just makes sense.
For those of you not watching the video feed, make sure you go over and watch it because, yes, Benny just showed us his adorable little dog.
Adorable.
There'll probably be another one that's a lot bigger. Amanda knows. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump in to your song choices, your second round of song choices to me.
Number 2.
All right. So Betty's second song to me was The Big Sleep by Streetlight Manifesto.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Classic.
Wait, and can I stop you there? Because I got to give credit to where credit's due.
Yeah, I barely started. Stop me.
This was extremely hard for me because I am a Catch-22 huge fan. And Streetlight Manifesto would not exist without Catch-22. So
that is true.
Just giving credit where credit due. But go ahead.
I'm going to pretend like I knew all of what you just explained because Chris understood.
He gets it.
I'm not going to lie.
I like the rhythm of the words. Like it's sort of kind of like chanting a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe like, I don't know. Is that a good way to explain it? Chris, can you roll some of it just to...
I'm rolling it.
Yeah, like help me align with what I'm explaining there so I can be like, yeah.
Good. I'm going to help align you a little bit.
Yeah. And
it's a little bit of The Big Sleep by Street.
Why do you cry when you know how the story ends?
Like it's like...
How can you laugh when you know that it hurts your friends?
Syncopated.
I probably, the cadence of it I think is fun. Maybe that's probably what I should have said versus chanting. It's kind of like Irish whipping, like big band sound, kind of, sort of, a little bit more so than the other ones. So I like this one. There was no yelling in this one.
No, and honestly, the reason why I love it, obviously, it's A Big Sleep. It's about death, and I wanted it at my funeral. And to be completely frank, the beautiful thing and the bad thing that I hear from people who listen to Streetlight Manifesto is Streetlight Manifesto have like every song is about 12 minutes long, and it goes into like 4 different songs into one song. So they're incredible, but their song structure is so different because they are literally going, 5 or 6 minutes into 3 songs into one. And so The Big Sleep for me was just incredible because I remember being a kid being like, dude, this rules because people don't talk about death, which we will talk about later. Mm-hmm. And this song really conveys the grief structure. So, yeah.
So Benny really broke down The Big Sleep into a science.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a science.
It's a science. Well, you
science
kind of
death.
I feel like the song changed a little bit for me now that you were like, it's all about death, Amanda. I don't know that I guess I didn't pick up on that right away.
I was just gonna say, did you not pick up on that?
I don't think I did. Well, it sounds so much happier than that.
It's right, 100%.
Like the cadence of it, I think I was so.
So the main chorus is, so when you close your eyes for the big sleep, I hope you think of me. Yeah. That's literally, that's all you need to know.
I don't think I would have. I guess the big sleep is probably a key word there that I missed, even though I was understanding it. This kind of music is the music that, like, it's hard for me to center on lyrics and sound, because the sound is so like wow.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could be like the modern day like Wicked Witch of the West from the like when the monkeys are singing the Wicked Witch is dead.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, like I think I was just really into the na-na-na-nas and all that good fun stuff.
Na-na-nas come in. It's hard. It's hard to think of anything else.
And I'm a na-na-na-nas kind of girl. Like that's kind of like that's music to my ears. So I enjoyed the music of it. Actually, I enjoy the message behind the song too, now that you explained it a little bit more.
I'm just reaping for extra points here, Chris. If she says 3 again, I'm gonna jump out a window.
Incidentally.
And here it goes.
No. 2.
No.
I don't know if you're getting any, I don't know if anybody's getting twos today, but
no twos today. Spoiler alert. But this one I said 4 records. I enjoyed the beat and the tone of it a little more. So I'm giving this one a 4 record. I think I could work alongside this. I could walk briskly. Now, Benny's a runner. Benny like runs 80 miles a day, and then he'll call me on the phone when he's running, where I would be like, I can't talk. Benny has full conversations after running 30 miles.
Right.
It's to be a good lead singer and to be able to give energy and sing at the same time, you gotta be ready. You gotta
be ready to go.
You must have zero problem with that. So if I do 4 records, I think this is fair. 4 records for a happy song about death.
All right. Well, if you ever saw Zombieland, you know the importance of making sure you're made limber. Got to limber up. Got to stay in shape.
What rule is that? Is that 2?
I think it's number 2. I think it's number 2. Rule number 2.
Yeah.
Well, Marcus and Owen just say that I'll be the decoy and they'll survive. So there's that. I will give my last to my family. So why get in shape? They would just throw me to the woods anyway.
They're throwing you right to the
throw
zombies.
To the zombies. And then take my body to Betty.
There you go. And I'll tie her shoelaces together, so we'll be okay.
There you go.
Look at that.
That's so smart. Is that in a movie?
That sounds like
it's an ongoing joke that people say. Do you really tie their shoes together so if the zombie apocalypse they trip, they can't change that?
Genius.
Womp womp.
I feel like that should be a song. Benny,
I think we need to bring back grave bells. We need to bring back the bells in the cemetery. That rules.
I had just seen a TikTok about that and how they weren't very effective because
No.
Well, because
every time the wind goes by, it's like, somebody's alive. Get him out of there.
And they kept digging up dead people. Like, it was really sad.
It's cool though.
It doesn't work. It's a fail.
Chris, did you ever see those TikToks?
I have not seen those TikToks.
Oh my gosh.
I'll have to watch this.
There's a scene in The Nun. If you ever watched the Nun horror movie, which is awesome.
That one I haven't seen yet.
That one ruled because there's
That's
a
on
scene.
list.
Actually, that was really scary. I thought it was really good. But there's a scene where like one of the nuns is walking through the cemetery and she hears all the bells go off, and I was like, that rules so much.
He's not scared of anything. He's not scared of that, but he's scared of the other things.
I was sitting there like, this is important. People don't realize how accurate this is.
If you're just jumping into this episode, whether it be the live or the replay, and you just happen to land in the middle, Benny is a funeral director. So this is why we're making a lot of the puns around death and such. So
correct. And on top of that, he also does a podcast called Let's Talk About Death podcast.
Yes. And it's fantastic.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
So check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I skate in the pit by night. I'm a funeral director by day and a funeral director by night, I guess. So whatever way you want to look at it, whatever you want to spin it.
Yeah, because when a person's bells rings, Benny's coming.
That's right.
Whew.
Whew. All right.
So just to recap so far. So we've got for Benny's song so far, we've heard New Girl by Suicide Machines, which you've given 3 records, and you just gave The Big Sleep by Streetlight Manifesto 4 records. And my first song was Two Tone Army by the Toasters, and you gave that 3.5.
Correct.
So
you better not give him 4.5, or this is going to be a problem.
All right. So listen,
Benny, quick question from Dave Mattingly. Benny, will glass coffins catch on? Remains to be seen.
Dave is so funny.
Nice. Way to go, Dave.
Oh, no, I'll give him this one. Wrong button.
Dave is so good in the comments. So is Ashley. They are so like on top of it when we're doing our show. They keep us on our toes and laughing. So thank you for those comments. Keep them coming. All right. Chris's second song to me, My Problem by Dance Hall Crashers.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So
yes.
I really, really, really like this one. And I think this is where Chris has an advantage because he knows my musical like conversations now with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Can't beat the dual vocals.
Yeah, the dual vocals is really what kind of happened.
Oh, man.
Chris, I love how, can I just say, Chris, I like how you're sticking true to like, and I told this to Amanda when we were setting up the show, I said, I hope Chris sticks to more of the two-tone feel because like I'm going straight to the punk realm. So I'm glad that you're kind of staying true to the actual like two-tone, old school ska with the new school. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. Benny was like, when he was talking about doing this show, he was talking about the waves and stuff. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, talk with Chris. Cause I don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't know what that is.
Well,
so, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You know what? I want you finish your thoughts on this. And then, we'll talk about Benny and I will talk about the waves very quickly. So that way for anybody else who's listening, who maybe is not familiar with ska or doesn't understand what the waves are, since we've already said it a few times, we'll talk about, but I want you to finish your thoughts on this song.
I like the cover art on this one. It has like the Charlie Brown.
Oh yeah, Charlie Brown. Yeah, so this is from this was the record. It's called the old record. And so this is from their stuff that was recorded in 1989 to 1992. Because after that, then they put out two major label records and I think like another EP or something. But they had been a band that kind of got together, broke up, got back together again. So they've had like a little bit of like an up and down history before they went on a run for a while, but now I think they're fairly defunct, barring a few, I think every now and then get together shows. The one, I think Karina, who's in the band, actually tours with the Interrupters now, doing backups with them.
Okay. Which we've heard before on this show.
You're an Interrupters fan now.
I am, which probably is not a surprise why I'm digging this kind of sound. And what I really like about that, this is like the ultimate, it's not you, it's me song.
Yes. I thought that you would like those lyrics.
Yes, like all of the lyrics she's saying. So she said it so like in a song, like, hey, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah, she literally says it.
Like it's so.
Yeah, she literally says the problem. There it is.
I can see the other songs to this point, I wouldn't be singing. Probably I'd just probably bopping along with it. This song I can see me bopping and singing to. So there is an extra like.
Here comes the 4.5.
Oh, or maybe a 5 record.
Oh, that's a lot.
So this was my favorite song of the list.
Oh,
I know, but
wow.
I have to say, like, again,
didn't expect
has a
that.
little bit of an advantage. I think he probably knew going in this one would maybe be the favorite of the 3 he sent me.
Yeah,
it's fair. It's
almost unfair to you, Benny, but this one was really, really a fun song for me, and I envision singing this to Marcus when I'm annoying him.
There you go.
When I'm annoying him, like just because I think wives occasionally like to annoy their husbands on purpose. It's fun.
No, not at all.
I don't want to be mean, but sometimes I just want to I push a button here or there, and so I could do that while singing the song, and I think it'll get the point across and get it out of my system.
Right.
It was me.
It was me. It's my problem.
Yeah, my problem, Marcus. Sorry. So 5 records. I just felt really attached to this one for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, the Dancehall Crashers. I mean, for me, I've the first time I heard them was probably back in, I'm gonna say it was maybe like 94 or 93 or 94. Someone had a cassette, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really love the dual like female vocal style, and just like their sound and their tone, and that was it. I got into them and I started like really listening to them, and then I found out, which I know Benny knows this, but there is a through line from Dancehall Crashers to Operation Ivy, funny enough, because Operation Ivy, Matt and Tim actually started Dancehall Crashers, but like literally we're only in the band for like, I don't know, like less than a month.
Yeah.
And then left the band, but the band kept going without them, and then they broke up and got back together. But like, it's just so funny that like they're actually like, if you're gonna go with history, that Matt and Tim from Op Ivy, from Rancid, were actually the founding members of Dancehall Crash.
Well, and that's something too that's so interesting about ska too, because people don't realize that a lot of the bands that they love came from ska backgrounds. You know, you got like Slapsticks, you have Alkaline Trio and Lawrence Arms that came from ska.
Say
band.
who?
Slapstick.
Say
Do you know who Alkaline Trio is?
What? Who they be?
But yeah, and in fact, and I'm not trying to plug them, but like if you listen to In Defense of Ska, which is a wonderful podcast, they go into like all the bands that you probably love, like started or loved ska or were in a ska band because it was such a big thing, like in the 90s. Like, it became so huge. But yeah, no, I'm going to be honest with you. Any 5 records for ska, it's a win for ska. So I'm all about winning for ska. So this is not. I realized when I was setting my punk influences, Amanda was probably gonna be like, "This is just too much. This is just wild."
You know, had we did this show 2 years ago, Betty, I'd be giving some different ratings. I'm sure my problem would not have been 5 records. It would have probably been like a 3.5 as the top of the win.
Yeah, and then I would have been making the same faces you're making, Benny.
Yeah.
Like how? Why? I don't understand.
What? So
sorry, there's nothing about John Deere tractors in these songs. That's what they need. They need a ska country. I'm sure it's out there.
Well,
I'm sure it's out there.
To Dave Mettenley's point,
he
had put on a comment. He is saying ska, reggae, bluegrass, country. So he sees a progression into country.
Oh, 100%.
Roadmap. The roadmap into Amanda's brain. See how we got there?
I like this one. Ska is just reggae at 3 times speed. You're not wrong, Dave, at all. At all.
And then punk ska is just 4 or 5 times speed. So we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
It is fast paced. I don't know that I could do a whole concert of ska. Like, I really think it would like exhaust me.
You got to come out and see how we do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to go check out Benny. But I mean, are you talking like being there or being on stage playing?
No, like being there. I feel like the energy would just be so draining.
No, it's the best. It's the best.
You lose yourself in the music.
Just get lost.
Eminem said it best. He was singing about ska all those years ago.
There we go. There we go.
He was singing about ska. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, it was.
Yeah.
Before I get into our third songs, did you guys want to quickly talk about the waves that you have?
Yeah, let's do that.
Of
go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so basically, if you look at ska's kind of broken up into 3 waves. Technically, now there's like a 4th wave. Sort of,
coming.
Yeah. So I mean, it's coming, and there's a lot of great bands. Like I'm so into like Bad Operator. They're from
so
oh my god, so wonderful. But yeah, so I mean, ska itself has kind of got 3 waves. So you sort of have the original version of ska, which started in Jamaica in the late 1950s, and there are amazing artists from that time. But it was basically, if you break down ska, like I know Dave was doing the ska to reggae, bluegrass, country, really its roots are in like the Caribbean, like calypso music, and then took elements from reggae and then started doing stuff on that upbeat, that ding, 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 and that was sort of where it started. And you've got a lot of those artists from the 50s that were into that. And so that was like, basically that's considered like first wave ska. Then from there, we moved into second wave, which Benny, You want to talk about second wave ska?
Yeah, we talking like the two-tone stuff. Are we starting to get into? We're going into Europe first because it was like England. It was Jamaicans that were coming over, and they were bringing it. And excuse me, it started like in England, Europe, and then eventually, obviously, Jamaicans came to America too, and that's how that kind of started there. But that was like the two-tone stuff. You start getting into like the specials and the selectors, and you get into all that. Really cool music, which then started getting a third wave, which was the huge big boom, which is the boom that the 90s really took off with, like Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, No
Lost
Doubt.
Tones.
You had Sublime,
Yeah.
which kind of it's weird because ska wants to take them, but then also doesn't. They're like the bad cousin that they don't want to admit is part of us, but it is part of us.
But it is.
Sublime ruled. He had a lot of they ruled. Whatever.
Yeah.
Their songs still being played. Fishbone. I mean, we could go on all day.
Yeah.
Aquabats, etc. A lot of these bands have been around for way before. Skank and Pickle was a huge one.
Skank and Pickle.
Skank and Pickle.
Yeah, Skank and Pickle. Yeah, but like you
Asian Man Records
talking about. Asian Man Records.
Yeah, and in Michigan, so takes us a little bit, just like everything else, because Michigan's so far north, that we got our own because we had Suicide Machines and we had Mustard Plug, which are two very, very big ska bands.
Yep.
And they still play today, which is a testament to the third wave. But then what happened so we had this huge boom in the 90s, and then when 2000 hit, it went from everybody loved us to everybody hated us. And then it was a thing where nobody talked about ska. You didn't see the local bands doing ska anymore because I think they overplayed ska. They overdid it. They overdid it. Sell Out and Real Big Fish were doing and I love Real Big Fish. I'm a huge Real Big Fish fan. I think Cheer Up and Turn the Radio Off are one of the greatest albums of all time. But so what happened was for about 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, it was uncool. It was like when I first started playing in a band, you didn't do Blink-182 covers. Now, if you do them, they're cool because it's been so and it's Tom in the band, Tom not in the band, whatever.
Yeah.
And so now like it's the what they're calling the fourth wave technically, and so there's record companies like Bad Time. With the Cat Bite, Bill Lincoln. We Are the Union is another Michigan-based band too. We Are the Union. You have all these bands. Bad Operation, which I think you were getting into.
You can even put the Interrupters into that fourth wave.
I mean, the Boy Detective, the biggest band from Michigan, really. And so, in all honesty, so that's where they're coming from, and it's interesting because ska is really big right now. Like it's coming out from the underground, and it's really, I mean, and in fairness, it's so catchy. You cannot go to a ska show without dancing, regardless of if you're going to put your hands in your pocket and kind of in the back sway.
Yeah.
That's the beauty thing, and everybody who comes and sees our show, which I'm going to plug us because this is so true. Whether you like us or don't like us, whether you like our music or don't like what we're doing, everybody has said, you guys are fun. Like, I actually want to come to your show because it's fun. You guys are dancing with the crowd's dancing with you, everybody's sweating, it's a good time, and, you get your steps in. So that's what you
get your steps in.
You get your steps in.
We're all older, right? So it's like, if I'm gonna go out to something, I want to get something out of it, right? And at least maybe lose a pound or two while I'm there.
And here in New Jersey, every right around Thanksgiving, usually the day or either a weekend before or the week or like Black Friday, or that weekend, there's usually here at a really well-known club here in New Jersey called Starland Ballroom. And there's usually a Skanksgiving festival, and it's like all day, like ska festival of all the bands. I think this past one, usually Streetlight is one of the headliners. I think it may have been Goldfinger this last one, and I think Mustard Plug played and a bunch. I think Skank and Pickle may have played. I didn't get a chance to go this time, but yeah, normally that's like every year's Skanksgiving.
Chris, you should plug in the Boy Detective to come down and play Skanksgiving next year.
I should. I'll have to find out who's the promoter on that one.
Do you know what I want so badly? I really want some ska people who really love ska to stumble across this episode because it is so fun seeing both of you guys just talk about all your love for ska. I think people would be going, yeah, I agree. And then
Well, it's
like
funny
going,
because
oh.
if you think about it, like ska comes out of like the big band dances. Like it's funny because our grandparents, that's what they did. They went to gyms and they danced to big bands, and or they did square dancing or whatnot. And ska is a form of that. Like it's an absolutely form.
Yeah, like the Big Sleep has a big band sound to me.
You will dance, and that's the beauty of it. So
it's supposed to be.
Go to a ska show and find them. They're all out. Sorry, my dogs are gonna bark now.
Yeah.
They're agreeing with you.
So so go out to a show and have fun. So yeah, absolutely.
All right, you guys, we're an hour in the show and we got 2 more songs to go. So I'm gonna dive into Benny's third song to me, which is literally like a 30-second song.
It's wonderful.
Hold on to your pants, everyone, ever. Because it is called KKK Highway.
Yes.
By
H-I. Yeah, but also spelled Hiway.
Oh, there we go.
Like highway.
Hi, yes. And then is it Moo 330? Moo.
It is definitely not Moo 330. It's MU 330.
What do you say to say the band? What's the band's name?
MU 330.
MU 330.
Oh, so it's MU 330. Oh, not Moo.
MU 330. Yeah. MU 330. And how that comes out is they were in their college or high school band, and that room was called MU 330.
Oh, that's so much fun.
So they were in band together, and that's where that number comes from. Was their band room.
Which is also another fascinating fact is that a lot of the ska bands started because everybody was in a high school band together. And and that's that's the cool thing because, and thank you for bringing that up, Chris, because this is so important. A lot of ska bands did start because you got these kids that are in band and they have these wonderful instruments and there's nowhere to go for them. Right.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, let's just start a punk band. But we also want to be raw. So let's do ska. Let's have some fun. And a lot, if you go into the history, a lot of the members are band nerds. And that's the other thing too, which is interesting. And I think this is why the fourth wave is hitting. There's always been a little bit of nerd and geekdom to ska. And now it's cool to be a nerd. Like I play D&D. I have no problem admitting it. I love it. It keeps my imagination going. It's cool to be in the science and nerds and be a musician and all that. So like, it is fun. Like it's a really cool place to be on stage if you're a brass brass player. So
I like it. Very cute. I think Stranger Things has brought a lot of nostalgic things into acceptance, and we can play those games. And I don't know how though. I really don't. Okay. Right. So Benny's KKK song to me.
KKK Highway. MU 330.
Okay. It is literally. Is it 40 seconds long?
I had it on
my phone.
It's 41 seconds long.
41 seconds, and the lyrics are very like, listen, they adopted a highway. I had them screenshot it, but they adopted a highway. They're picking up trash. They should be good at it because they're used to looking at the mirror and picking up what they're doing, basically. Like I absolutely said it so incorrectly, but basically that's the concept. And I was like, wow. Like, yeah.
So for a while, Asian Man Records had a ska against
racism.
And the big thing is this is wonderful because we still have a lot of racist people, no offense.
Yes,
and prejudiced people. And this song there's another one. They took the Confederate flag down, not from MU 330. I think it's from, oh God, now my brain's not gonna work. But the Ska Lights, I'm messing it up. But there's another big. They took the flag down, and that was a big thing because they did their history lesson, and they found out because people always say, I'm getting a little rant here, guys, so just stop me if I get it. But a lot of people will say, I have my Confederate flag because I'm part of the South, and that's my history. And then, but at the same time, that's still promoting racism. My grandfather, and I can say that because my great-great-grandfather came over from Switzerland and went right into the Yankees, the Yankee Army. He was part of the Ohio Yankee Army. And that was the reason why he could get a citizenship and actually get paid right from the beginning. So he did that. So whenever somebody's like, hey, how do you like my Confederate flag? I'm like, I don't like it at all because my great-great-grandfather fought so you don't have to, against racism. And it's funny and I hate it. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is rough because a lot of people are like, well, that's our history. You don't understand the South, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, but why don't you have a Yankee flag in the front yard? Like for the winter, it's like flying, in my opinion, a Nazi flag. It's the same kind of opinion. Sorry, just being honest.
Listen, controversy sells, and I don't know that it should even be a controversial thing anymore. But this song,
it belongs in a museum, and that's it. That's where it belongs.
In books. Yeah, absolutely. So very interesting song. Like, I don't know, like when you, just out of curiosity, because I don't know that this is one that like I guess I don't know. Would you just put the song on to put it on, or did you specifically grab this song for this list? Explain to me, because I think this was very intended for a reason that they did this song.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. It's the catchiest song ever, too.
It's really.
It just goes right. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Did you know that the cat? It's really it's fun. It's really fun. Yeah. And I mean, I'll be honest. The words are so important.
They very much are. Yeah. I enjoyed the words.
Here, so let me play it real quick so everybody can get a taste of what KKK Highway sounds like.
Did you know that the KKK adopted a highway just a few miles away from my mom's house? They pay the money and they burn up the sign. I guess they dress up in sheets and go pick up the trash. The trash, the trash. They pick up the trash, the trash, the trash.
It rules.
So, had you not given me the song title with this song where I had to type in KKK and really understand that they were saying KKK.
You're like, am I going to get in trouble for that?
No, right? No kidding. But like, when you're listening to it, they're going, the KKK almost sounds like an echo, like they said K, and then they're going KKK, like kind of in the background. So I don't know that I would have clicked that this was about the KKK right away. I guess maybe once the white sheet thing was said. But it is, to your point, it's so catchy, and you sing it that I don't know how much I would have sang it before it clicked to me that it was actually about the real KKK.
Well, that's a real story. Like, they literally adopted a highway. They spent money to adopt a highway, and then he was like, "I'm embarrassed to drive down this street. Like, this exists."
So he just drove past it and was like, "Okay, I'm going to write a song about this."
Yeah. So and all the punk kids would graffiti it or take it down, and they kept having to put it back up. Okay. So and it was like that one thing. Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it now, we're still dealing with this same stuff all the time with, people, putting F Biden in their front yard, or I voted for Trump or whatnot. Like, it's the same garbage, where it's like, we need to get back to we don't have to be on one side or the other, but at the end of the day, we need to get rid of racism. We need to get rid of prejudice. And I think our generation, our kids' generation, they don't see color like even our parents did anymore. But it's just interesting that they thought that would be a good idea to buy a highway.
That blows my mind.
It was something strange, like the Martin Luther King Highway or something too. So it was like a direct hit on that too, which was you'll have to. I mean, I listened to the history of that song, and even more so, it just, to me, I was like, that's so punk rock. Like, yes, thank you.
Totally punk rock.
What was that song? Hey, Chris, what was that song? They took down the Confederate flag.
That's what I'm looking for right now.
They took down that flag or something.
Well, while you're looking that up,
go ahead.
I'm going to rate it. So I originally gave it the 4 records for the actual song itself, but I give it a bonus point for the message behind it.
I will take
so that one lands in as a 5 record, but because of a bonus point. And it is so catchy. It is so
yes.
catchy.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's a good rating.
Yeah, super short, and we don't really get super political on our show typically at all. But I think this is one that there should be no doubt that this is a 5 record fun song, because I can't believe that would actually be true.
Well, I will just say though, and Benny knows this, and we just did talk about it, and we'll keep moving on. I don't want to beat it, but ska in itself has always been very, very, despite whatever else or whoever else has adopted it, different groups, ska has always been very, very much about core messages being very strong about unity, about ending racism, about inclusion, and that's always been the basis for the music, because at the end, it's all about dancing and having a good time, and that is for everybody and anybody.
And that is
And
what
there's
unifies us all.
no place for hate, and that's always been the roots of ska music.
Which
Through
is the
all
perfect
the
segue.
through all the waves.
Absolutely. Which is the perfect segue into your third song to me, while you guys are still looking for that
Yeah.
other song.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Operation Ivy. I
Yep.
think because it was funny that you both had kind of a similar tone for your third song,
Yeah.
even though it was different. But this one was it really hit home. I really like the lyrics of that.
Yes.
I like that it's a little bit more bold than your other choices to me. But I think you wisely put it as the third song.
Yep.
So that way my ears were warmed up.
Yeah. I mean, Operation Ivy to me is like, they are such an important band in the scheme of like the scene, from like
Yeah.
ska punk and the bridging of it, and then what they sort of ushered in. Like, they were just like, at that time, like, bands were doing it, but they did it in such a way that just has like resonated, and still to this day in 2023, as a band that got together in the 80s, like really kids when they did this band, just a bunch of punk kids who were like, these are the things we like listening to, so we're just going to make music of the things that we like listening to. And then to have such an impact to this day still on so many bands, like, this is an important record for so many reasons. That's why it has to be on the list to me of like, if you're going to go with a ska starter kit, like, pack, like, Op Ivy has to be in it. Like, it just has to be. And they've had so many great songs from, like, I mean, Sound System. I mean, obviously Knowledge is like, these are huge songs, but Unity is like, that's the quintessential song for me, because it's like, that sums up what that band was about, and sort of like the whole San Fran Bay, like, punk scene and all that. And like, and those lyrics today, like, still just hit as much as they did then, like, are probably even more relevant now. So that's
you see a jean jacket with studded leather on, you're gonna find a Op Ivy patch on it, and it's so interesting because this band, I mean, this one album, just ruled, just absolutely ruled. And then obviously they joined Rancid, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think Out Came the Wolves is one of the top ska albums of all. Going back to albums, see, this was the problem when I was thinking about this.
No, Out Came the Wolves is
I was thinking like Ruby Soho, but I was like, okay, but it doesn't really make sense if it's not putting in an album. But to be frank, like, Operation Ivy. So my problem was, when I was growing up, I got all my music from my older brother. So I'm going to give props to Chris Capaul for giving me all the albums he did, but he didn't give me Op Ivy. He gave me Rancid. Right. So I had to do my research and go back, and then I was like, oh my god, why did I not know this existed? And then when I figured it out, then I went into obviously the hardcore scene too a little bit. But Op Ivy is just, I was so glad that you put it on there, because I was like, one of us is going to put it on. So it's just the idea.
Yeah,
you have to, if you're going to do ska punk. I mean, that's what made it.
It's such a good gateway record into like the sound and the music. And then on top of that, like, so many bands like heard this record and started a band. Like, they influenced so many people to want to start bands. So I don't know. That's why it's just like, when Benny was talking about like records near and dear to your heart, like, this record for me is like so near and dear. And I'm like, you can't put a ska starter list to somebody without Op Ivy on it. So anyway.
And Operation Ivy Unity are the real ska people, because I'm like Operation Ivy and you go Op Ivy. So you guys know the lingo of even the band.
Yeah, Op Ivy.
This one, it was just a little bit more
rough for you.
A little bit more rough. So then I appreciated the message of it a lot, but it was just a little bit more than I wanted. I mean, the message is still like very relevant. So I'm gonna land this one in at a 3.5. I know, but you know what?
I'm gonna put my glasses down. That's
but a breakdown in the middle of this song. A breakdown.
More exhausting to my brain.
This is exhausting to your brain?
And it's also a joke. It's also a joke too because we have been the community of ska have been asking Op Ivy to come back together, and they won't do it. They
just did that. They did that. Jesse and Tim did
the
that.
Interrupter. They did the Interrupter thing.
Yeah, which was fun. It was fun to see that.
But it was like even they knew. Even they knew it's like you're not going to get the full thing. You're not going to. And you know what? I kind of like that. How punk rock is that too? Like we had something. It was amazing, but we won't go back to it.
No, that's it.
Like,
they did it. They did it.
You leave when you're prime, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of bands they like do it, and it's like, oh man, we should have done that. But like,
I think that's so important to know when the the season's over.
You don't realize too, and going back to like how bands are, like Fall Out Boy, he based his vocals off the guy from Animal Chin, which is a ska band, who was in the Stereo. That's how he we wouldn't have all these bands if it wasn't for ska. And if you look into a lot of the bands, they have little ska things they choose to put in and then like secretly evade. But it's like, look at Gwen Stefani. Gwen Stefani would not be Gwen Stefani unless she was in No Doubt.
True.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, because her sound is very unique, and I think that was the lane that it was a most appropriate entry for her.
Oh, she ruled. I miss her. Come back, Gwen.
Come back to ska.
Come back,
I was
Gwen.
like, she didn't really go anywhere. She's just not.
Yeah, she left us.
Amanda,
she left us.
Let me just say, go and listen to No Doubt's first record. It's
even
Spotify.
Before Tragic Kingdom. It is pure ska.
It's awesome.
Wonderful.
And it's even with the original singer too, because it was Gwen and I forgot his name, the original singer who unfortunately passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But her brother is the one that started No Doubt. Like Gwen's brother is the mastermind and the originator and the founder of No Doubt. Like it was his band. Like he started it. She was the story is fantastic. And it's great hearing her tell it because, and she will always tell you that it's, if it wasn't for that, it's like she wouldn't be where she is today. And it gave her the confidence, all those things.
She got with the guy from Bush and just things went downhill.
Go listen to that first record though.
I will.
You're gonna love it. If you liked Dancehall Crashers, you're definitely gonna love that first No Doubt record. It's really
and
really
even Tragic Kingdom is just like
Tragic
Sunday
Kingdom's
morning.
fantastic.
You have Spiderwebs. I'm not the girl, or I'm just the girl, or
I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
I'm
probably
all those
more
songs.
of those songs than what I'm giving myself credit for of hers.
You do,
but you wouldn't have assumed they were ska because they were just on the pop hits at the time.
Yeah, they were just on the radio. Just on the radio.
Just on the radio.
That thing still exists.
So did I win?
Yeah. So
did I get the high record?
Wins the ska starter kit? Like whose playlist is the best?
So let's do. So Benny got a 3.5.
Yeah.
A 4.
Like it. 7.5.
And then a 5.
Okay.
So I don't have my calculator.
12.5. 12.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, we're good with music. We're not good with numbers. Everyone, help us.
I'm really good with simple math. I'm very good with simple
math.
So Benny's total was what then? 12.5?
12.5.
Okay. And then Chris's was a 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
A 5.
Ooh, 8.5.
Oh, and I only gave a
3.5. Oh, so you got a 12. So I got the 0.5.
We let the guest win.
I know. You got to be easy on the guest. Yeah. It's all for ska.
It's all for ska.
I didn't even total those up really to really know. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was a little embarrassing.
You know what's sad is the sad part is, and this will always go down in infamy, Chris, because this is taped. You lost because of your Operation Ivy song.
I know. I lost because of Operation Ivy.
Ooh.
And you know what? That's punk rock.
That's punk rock. True punk
rock. I
rock.
think Tim would be like
punk rock. No offense to Operation Ivy and the message.
Oh, there's offense taken. People are throwing their laptops around. The community is up in arms. Right now.
We'll wait to see what the comments are when.
Oh, Benny, sometimes our YouTube comments are really harsh. That's why I have my name as that girl right now, because I thought there might be some comments.
I want to put this in there right now. Chris and I, Benny, we do not accept Amanda's choice on Operation Ivy by any means, form, or shape. We do not want to be plugged into that. I am a ska singer, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the thing. The task at hand
Ruby
was
Soho. Yeah, Dave.
the task was the entry level, like introduce somebody to ska.
Right.
And I think maybe that one would have been a little like harsh for somebody.
Last question. Have you listened to Band from the Bathtub?
I don't think
Oh, you guys ever listened to the album? You have me on. Have you even listened to my album? Oh my gosh, embarrassing.
No, but I feel like
embarrassing.
No, but see, this is the thing. I haven't, but this is the problem. I've listened to like your stuff that you post. So what would you have posted that would have been off of that?
Scabies or
see, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like I'm.
Did you listen to the cover?
Have.
Did you listen to Jumpin' Jumpin'?
I'm positive I have.
Okay.
I'm
What do you think of Jumpin' Jumpin'?
Well, I gotta listen to it again. I didn't rate it. Like we don't.
Chris is like, you put me on a spot. How dare you?
No, because like you'll post.
Chris, you would like Band from the Bathtub. It is well.
I just brought it up. Hold on. Let's play a little bit. What song should I play a little bit of? What's a good song to play right now?
They're all good. They're all good.
Like, they're all good.
Are you into the more ska? Or are you more into the punk ska?
I
need to know
this.
It's
fine.
He really lands either.
All right.
I think Scabies is our best song, but there is some explicit lyrics.
Oh, all right. So let's not do that one then.
She only dates astronauts is our most famous song on Spotify. I don't know why.
All right. So let's play a little bit. Well, let's play a little bit of She Only Dates
It's
Astronauts.
It's cute.
From Boy Detective, Band in a Bathtub, from the Bathtub, which you can get on Spotify. All right, let's play a little bit of this.
Let's do this.
And I can't remember a time where I have felt so broken. I know it's only been 2 hours, but it feels like forever since we last spoke. I know I must have done something. I know I probably said something, but for the life of me, I can't remember anything at all. But I'd do anything to make it up to you. Crawl back on my hands and knees and say I'm sorry.
Yeah? I was kind of hoping you'd go back by the door and do your skate dance.
This sounds good, man.
A skate dance?
Yeah, do it by the door so we can see.
All right.
It's all in the legs.
Don't hurt yourself.
You gotta bring up the legs. That's what really makes a good skate.
Oh my gosh, if I fall, this could be great for rating.
Yes.
All right, here I go.
Oh, she's can I get this blade?
It's 8 years later and I still don't know what I'm doing, but at least I know I'm doing it well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for that. You need to come to our show and be our rollerblade skanker.
That's right. That sounds great, man.
It's good.
Give it a try. The other songs are more punk, but that's the one people love, apparently.
Yeah. Well, this one is sitting at a cool 1,423 streams on Spotify.
Yeah,
you screaming. And Benny streams and puts content everywhere. So that's where I've like gotten pieces and pieces of all of your stuff.
Yeah.
So Benny, to wrap this up, tell us all the places you want us to find you.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have any questions about death, you can go to our podcast, Let's Talk About Death, podcast.com, or you can write us an email at letstalkaboutdeathpod@gmail.com. If you're into the band, check out the Boy Detective. You can find us anywhere. You can Spotify, Apple, Linktree, whatever you want. And it's wonderful. If you're into ska, I challenge you to listen to us. I'm sure you'd love us. And I got to give credit to my lead guitarist, because he was the one that got me into the ska band and got me going. His name's Nick Good, and he rules. And we have a bunch of albums. We have Band from the Bathtub, which is the newest album. We just released a cover of Jumpin' Jumpin' by Destiny's Child. and we have Scalarity, which was kind of our whole cover album, and we kind of use Clarity. Jimmy Eat Worlds is kind of like our thing, but check that out. It's a bunch of ska covers. It's wonderful. And then we have Dorcas Malorcas, which is a reference to Simpsons, and we have a great album there too. Check us out.
Awesome.
You're everywhere.
Scott up.
Dave Mattingly with a very serious question. Skanker, ? Is Rude Boy no longer the term for ska fans?
No, Rude Boy, you could do Rude Boy, Skanker, Skankify. I mean, that's the beauty of ska. We just put ska in everything that we do. We just make new words with ska in it.
There you go.
That's
Ska
like
Boy.
Amanda
How about Ska Boy?
Yeah, Ska Boy. Ska Boy.
What was the girl? What was the girl? There's Rude Boy, and then there was a girl.
Isn't it just Rude Girl?
Is it Rude Girl?
Skater Girl.
Ska Girl. I thought she was something else. Hey Girl, or was it Rude Girl?
That girl. That girl.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, no.
That's not right. That's not right. Hold on. Got to give her her words due.
Ska is so complicated.
It's not really, though.
There's all these names and waves, and
You gotta know. You gotta know your slang. You know,
man.
You can't go into country music and not know the slang.
Yeah,
right?
It's true.
But I guess I'm just so like familiar with it. It just doesn't seem like
you know. Well, you grew up in Ida, Michigan, so
Rude Boy,
born into it.
Rude Girl.
Rude Girl. Okay. Two-tone girl.
Yeah, I guess. So to Chris's points that he said in many of our episodes before, like I guess the country waves are like you'll say 90s or early 2000s, like you break it into like decades versus like an actual like first or second wave, and then. Dave, I feel like ska is complicated.
Ska isn't complicated. It's just new wave calypso with horns. He's totally 100%. Spot on.
You just add horns to it and it becomes ska somehow. Too.
Yeah,
like that's the other thing that people say. You add horns to it, it's ska. I'm like, okay, but Pink Floyd's not ska. They have horns and everything that they do.
Yeah, but they're not on the up there.
They're not on the upbeats. They didn't do the upbeats.
Yeah,
Roger Waters and Dave Gilmour were up in it.
So funny.
So they need to up their game. That's what they need to do.
Yeah. That's it. So. Real quick, before we wrap up the show, I did want to at least say that on our Facebook group, we put it out there. Like, what 3 songs would you give for that would be included in your ska starter kit? So, got some good, and I know Benny would appreciate it. So, we got some good suggestions here. Yeah. So, Jason DeFrosia came up with Sound System by Op Ivy, No Face by Suicide Machines, and Dogs and Champlins by Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Champlins.
3 for 3.
Thank you. And then we've got Ken Ventry checking in with all Suicide Machines.
Baby.
Dave Mattingly, who's been checking in with us live all day today. He said Madness One Step Beyond, the undertones really, really Fishbone, Ma, and Pa. But then he said, I want to change my Fishbone to Party at Ground Zero. So good calls there. Brian Bedetto said Madness One Step Beyond, Mephistopheles with Doomsday, and Inspector 7, which I gave him props. I'm like, oh, Inspector 7.
Inspector 7 rules.
Sharky 17.
Yeah.
And then Tony Donato checked in with he gave a bunch of songs. So he said 9/11's by Skadanks, Skankin' to the Beat by Fishbone, the ska song by Murphy's Law, Skanks for Giggles. He said Skanks for Giggles. YMCA by the Skunks, Monster Skank by Infectious Grooves, and Skank and Go Nuts by Fishbone. And then I love Raphael DeFuria checked in with Does Goldfinger Superman count?
Yeah.
Said,
why
not? Of course. So some great suggestions. I'm gonna put them all on a playlist. So we'll put all these on
Ooh, look at us ska. Got a ska playlist.
Ska playlist. So and of course
make sure you got those Mad Caddies too.
Yeah, the Mad Caddies I gotta get in there. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so for anybody, if you want to check out the songs that we talked about today, specifically all in one place, you can go over to our Song Swap Showdown 2023 playlist, which you can get right now. Just go over to Spotify or use the links in the show notes or bio. All the things. It's all linked. It's all there. And they're all in order, ready to go for you.
Boom.
Boom.
Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, man. This was cool. No, this was great. This was awesome.
You're obviously a
Amanda.
natural.
Amanda, you were like the brunt of this. So, I mean, was this fun for you? Did you like this,
You
Amanda?
know, yes, this would have probably been difficult if this was one of maybe our first episodes that we tried to dive into, like
Right.
way back when. But now that we're seasoned and I could handle ska
Yeah. Now
and
you
I
can
could
handle it.
I can handle it. Like my ears are not bleeding from ska.
Right.
I don't know
Lady
why they would be
Ska.
bleeding, but
I don't know. But this was super fun. Benny, you've been a great sport. Thank you for coming on and talking
Yeah.
about your love of music especially within the
Mhm.
ska scene. And Chris, I'm so glad you've had somebody to like really like have fun and like
bond with.
talk about. Yeah, I'm bond with over ska because I'm just not able to be that person for you. So thank you for that, Benny.
Oh, absolutely. And if you need a punk or pop punk other guest, please bring me back on because we could talk all day about that too.
No, absolutely. I would love that.
Benny could be one of the people that, if I'm ever on vacation or something, maybe Benny could be that
Oh yeah,
co-host
Yeah.
for me when I'm
the guest host, the
yeah.
guest
Mhm.
host,
Yeah.
Yep.
ska host, ska host.
The
Ska
ska
host.
host.
Ska host.
You guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Benny.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Benny. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. If you're checking us out live, want to say thank you to, of course, Dave Mattingly, Ashley, Danielle Feller, and anybody else who was checking us out live. We appreciate you. Also, for those of you that are listening to the audio version of this or watching the replay over on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, we appreciate you as well. Thank you for spending some time with us today and hanging out. And hopefully you enjoyed this little conversation that we had about selecting our songs for the ska starter kit for those of you who have never heard ska before, or if you're looking to get more into ska and where you should start. Well, I feel like any of the songs that Ben and I have talked about are great starting points. So enjoy our gift to you and enjoy. And I'm so glad Amanda Sharp got to hear some great ska music, some good ska suggestions. So thank you all so much for listening. And if you'd like to help support the show, a few quick ways you can do that is you can head over to our Buy Me a Coffee link, which is in our show notes. And if you think we did a good job and you want to keep the show running, please feel free to select a donation that you feel like that we've earned today as hosts, bringing you this amazing entertainment. If you feel like we're doing a good job, please feel free to select a level over there. We also have a convenient tip jar as well in our campsite, that bio link. Another great way, though, is to hit that follow button wherever you're listening to the show. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and that little bell so that way you get notified every single time we drop an episode or go live, and you will get notified. So with all of that out of the way, thank you all so much, and we will see you next time on another episode of Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown. And make sure you go over and support our guest, Benny Capaul, over at Let's Talk About Death podcast.com, and check out his band, The Boy Detective. Use all the links in the show notes to get access to all of Benny's stuff. Benny, thank you once again, my friend. Appreciate you. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Scott, keep living up. Pick it up, 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 pick it up.
What? Bye, everyone.
Bye.